Yeah, when I heard about the passing of Umama Madikizela, Kawagazi, Ndlovukazi, it felt like my own mother has died because that's who she has been, and that's who I think for me she'll remain to be in spirit. Uzo qhubeka abe yihlozi elihle, abe yihlozi elimhlophe, abe yinkanyezi kuthina. You know, those who are wanting to walk in her footsteps. I mean, as a healer, I'm doing this endumbeni because who she has become in my life is a fearless warrior, a fearless woman who stood her ground, who stood her truth despite persecution, despite what the world would say against her, despite who, you know, wanted to believe in what she believed in herself. She lived it through. So she's a living example of what is possible for us as humanity when we start to embrace ourselves and we embrace our truth and we become unapologetic to do so. Our work remains in people's lives for eternity.
Well, as far as Umawini is concerned, I think to show how peaceful a person she was, you can look at the manner in which she exited this world. Until she died, she could do what we call perform all the activities of the daily living herself. So she was a very strong and yet a very peaceful person, and that shows in the manner in which she died.
I'd like to pay homage to our mama we just lost, who has been a source of inspiration for our liberation. And I'd like to say, go in peace, and we'll all miss you.
The mother of the nation was a real inspirational woman, a real anti-discrimination ambassador. Not only did she fight racial oppression, she also did this as a woman. This week, the world mourned her passing. However, her legacy will never pass.
Good evening and welcome to Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours. It has been a week since South Africa lost one of its greatest giants, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela. As the country observes these days of mourning, Real Talk honors Mam Winnie's legacy this week in our special Mam Winnie Madikizela Mandela Diaries. Later on in the show, people who are obviously inspired by her radio personality and businesswoman Azania Mosaka joins us with her business partners Igo Igwegu and Linda Jangulo from Miss Salon, London. But first, today, Mam Winnie's hometown, Bizane in Eastern Cape, held a special memorial service that was attended by the President, Cyril Ramaphosa. The Titan will be remembered for her fight against patriarchy, her role as an elder for the youth, and her passion for improving the lives of the poor. But her greatest contribution arguably lies in the influence she had within the ANC during the struggle. Here's a look back at just how much the fight for freedom meant to Mam Winnie, even in the midst of being imprisoned, attacked by the apartheid government in the town of Brantford.
They had to create that kind of atmosphere to present us as a violent people who were manufacturing bombs in the backfield of the Free State. Through the years, I did develop sentiments about the place. I engaged myself heavily, numerous projects for the community. In a way, it became a livable prison, which was a point of departure for me to serve my people where I had been placed without any choice. The feeling I have is the feeling of everyone else who has suffered such losses which have been inflicted by the racist regime. It is painful. It is the reality of our struggle for freedom. And it is only a continuation of the physical participation and the physical suffering of any freedom fighter.
Are you going to keep right on struggling?
The struggle goes on. There has never been any doubt about that.
There is no better person to speak on Mam Winnie Madikizela Mandela, in my opinion, than the leader of the UDM, Member of Parliament, and the man that Mam Winnie Madikizela asked to protect President Nelson Mandela after he came out of prison. This is the only person she trusted. We have got him here. Surely, I mean, of all the important things you've done, Major General Bantu Olomisa, the fact that Mam Winnie asked you to protect Utata, it must rank quite highly in the things that you have been able to serve in?
Well, there's no doubt that Mama Winnie was a strong person. And if she gave you an instruction or order, being a child of the Tembus, you had to carry it.
Yeah.
The first instruction he gave to me was when he was asked by the ANC in Mosaka to approach Transkei government, which I was heading at the time, with a view to rebury King Sabata Dalindyebo. The message which came through, first time I spoke to her, it was over the phone. Bantu mtanam, there is a delegation coming to see you. Please help them. But I can tell you why we are calling you. We were sending that delegation. We want the reburial of King Sabata Dalindyebo. K.D. Matanzima did not bury in a way which befit a king.
Fitting.
Yes. So, yes, I carried that instruction where it was done. And also on the day when I visited Madiba in 1990 after he was released, while we were still joking and talking about politics in general, there came Winnie Mandela, Mama Winnie Mandela, and said, Bantu, one thing I'm not going to allow is for Madiba to be guarded or protected by FW de Klerk security. So we don't want any policeman, any military person of the SANDF or SAP around this house.
What did she suspect would happen?
She said, you are going to provide security for Madiba. And then I said, well, this is another country, I can't do that. What country? That nonsense, this thing of homelands. I said, no, I cannot do that. But you must make sure that Madiba, as from tomorrow onwards, he is protected until MK members came. And I immediately called General Matanzima, who was the acting commander at the time. And then we made a provision, and until MK commanders came back.
Into the country?
Yeah.
So you were at his side all the time?
All the time. At times, she became ungovernable. And Madiba would, when we have lunch or dinner in his house, Bantu, you must speak to your mom. She is becoming ungovernable. Do you think he had to go that far in attacking the government? So I must go and run and talk to mom. No, tell them, they are selling out, man. We can't allow this nonsense. That was Winnie.
Did she ever reprimand you? Because you're a son to her, and now at times, you know, you would have been deemed ungovernable. Even Utata, you know, he'd had to call you and reprimand you. Did she ever say, you know, Bantu, and he
No, there was no need for that because I was busy running a country. So she was busy this side galvanizing support for the ANC. But whenever she needed assistance in terms of manpower, we would go and protect the rallies of Madiba. I remember the first rally Madiba held in Durban.
I remember that.
That rally where he said the spears must be thrown to the sea, it was got protected by the special forces of the Transkei. We got in quietly and worked with the underground structures of the ANC. So that was the kind of work we were doing. There was no need to clash with her.
Were you ever worried about Umama?
Worried, yes, because Winnie was speaking truth to the power, spoke truth to the power. And under de Klerk, P.W. Botha, everybody. And she did not stop that approach, even under the Madiba government. It was for that reason Madiba would always call me and says, you must speak to your mom. So Winnie didn't care about whether you are a woman or a man. If you are wrong, you are wrong. Very few women would shout at a man those days.
Yeah.
But Winnie showed that to hell with patriarchy.
Yeah. And you say something wonderful about how the relationship between her and Mam Grasa is still a marvel, and it's something very beautiful to watch. Can you unpack that for us as the insider?
The mischievous fellow in this relationship was Madiba. Because if he calls me, then he says I must oversee the function in his house.
Yeah.
He would call me, Bantu, have we invited Sami? Referring to
Nomzamo.
Zami. And then I would say, why is she going to be here? Because you divorced him. You divorced her. No, she has to be part of us here. She is looking after my grandchildren. There's something wrong there. So, but Grasha was always welcoming
and
Mama.
graceful.
Yeah, even up until the last day of Madiba, as you witnessed during the funeral.
So now, for people who don't understand, and I think you'd be one of the best people to explain this to us, what's the protocol when it comes to her getting buried? What rights, for lack of a better word, does the Mandela family have? You know, because they enjoyed that relationship where she was always there and always invited, even though there was a divorce that happened. You know, you know, are they allowed to speak at the funeral? You know, is Qunu in any way involved in the proceedings of these 12 days that we're looking at?
Yes, Qunu is, as a family, they are part of this. I saw Mandla Mandela yesterday. He was addressing a memorial service in Cape Town. You saw Gracia Machel paying tribute. But one has to be careful to say there are certain boundaries. So the family, the Mandela family, Winnie Mandela family and grandchildren has to give direction. But the Mandela in general, the family, they can advise here and there. But this time around, the Winnie Mandela and Winnie Mandela's children and their grandchildren are doing this in conjunction with the state.
And when you heard of her passing, where were you, and who is the first person you thought of besides Ke Umama?
I was driving from Umtata to East London with a view to catch a flight to Joburg.
Yes.
And then a journalist from Herald called to say, what's your comment on this?
Hibitnan.
And then I said, no, I'm talking nonsense. And then I stopped and phoned Zodwa immediately, and I don't think it was Zodwa, yes.
Yes.
And then they confirmed, and then I phoned the journalist back, and then I paid my tribute. Of course, it was shocking given that Winnie, a few weeks ago, before he passed on, she was working with the president, going to registration. And we also heard later on now, after she passed on, that she was in church and so on. So typical of the old people, when they've got their own way of
saying goodbye.
Goodbye, yes.
And in her saying goodbye, what can we not forget about Umama? What is it that, you know, I read your tribute and about how we've come out of a dark phase and, you know, we must look forward, and she represented everyone and she was non-partisan. I read that, but what is the one thing that we cannot forget about Winnie Mandela?
Winnie Mandela was leading the battle. He was in the front line during the struggle. Winnie Mandela made it a point that she represent. She was the voice of the voiceless, the poor of the poorest. Winnie Mandela also didn't leave those people she was living with in Soweto. She's home is still there, while other comrades and neighbors migrated to the leafy suburbs. So that is a kind of a person, isn't it? She has never been a fake.
And that's what we need to follow. Just don't be a fake.
Don't be a fake, and then you must stand your ground when things are not right and tell whoever. To us, she has been an inspiration. We learned a lot, but I was fortunate in that I was serving these two giants, political giants, Madiba and Winnie this time. But both of them, they are not easy to compromise. But I managed to assist where I was needed to do so.
Dada, thank you so much for your time. This was an amazing insight, and it kind of left me a little warm and fuzzy inside. In the words of the Major General in his tribute, to honor Umamwini's memory, we must work harder to improve the lives of all the people of South Africa. Umama will look down on us from heaven and judge us if we fail to do so. Thank you so much to the UDM leader and Member of Parliament, Major General Bantu Olomisa. On the other side of the break, we are in the company of radio personality and businesswoman Azania Mosaka. And welcome back. You with Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours. So everyone has a starting point, from working the till at McDonald's, being a receptionist in a hotel, mixing drinks as a bartender. Our guest today showed admirable ambition and incredible work ethic during the 3 years that she spent in the UK. By the time she came back to South Africa, she would blossom into an entertainment star. For over 15 years, she's entertained radio and TV fans alike with her husky tone on popular radio stations such as Metro FM, Power FM, and now 702. But don't you dare count her as one of those people with a face for radio. She's also graced our TV screens on shows including The Joint, Pop Stars, and Cooking with Azania. Then, after a craving for a big life change came, she dove into the beauty industry and worked her way into a business partnership for Miss Salon London. Please welcome back to Real Talk media personality and businesswoman Azania Mosaka.
Anele, my darling, you went and dug into the archives. Wavundula. And came up with...
find out.
Yeah.
You are such a rascal.
Yes, a lot of people don't know that.
You are such a rascal. I remember, who was I talking? I was like, yes, Azania is such a fox. And she thinks we can't see that she's a fox. But it's fine. We're okay with it.
Was it your birthday? Something like that.
Something along those lines. Something along those lines. Listen, the 20s were having fun.
Yes.
The 30s were for growth.
Yes,
What?
the adulting
Yeah.
was happening in the 30s.
What is the 40s about?
The 40s so far about me feeling more comfortable in my skin. Yes. If I thought I knew my voice in my 30s,
Yeah.
the 40s are showing me something new. It's actually my birthday on the 18th, so I'm counting. Yeah, I'm no longer 40, I'll be 41. Yeah, on the 18th of April. Did I say June?
Yes.
April.
Yes. So did you have any, because you know when you're 29,
Yeah.
if you don't turn 30 at 28, you'll never turn it. So
Yeah.
the transition starts, right? And at 38, 39, did you start, preparing yourself for that next milestone?
Yes, my 39th year felt a lot like my 29th year. It was a very challenging year where I wasn't so sure if I'm ready for that milestone.
Yeah.
You start to think, what have I done with my life? What have I done with all this time? You look around and you think, is this the plan I had, you know? So you ask yourself a lot of difficult questions, but when the milestone comes, I think you forget about it. It then becomes celebratory. It's about sitting and reflecting on the things that you have achieved. So once you get over that, you're able to enjoy it.
But after 15 years in the limelight, the spotlight, and do you look at it and think, I've done nothing? Every now and then.
Every now and then,
Yeah.
every now and then, especially when you feel like things are kind of starting to stagnate.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, no, man, I prefer, I think it was Will Smith who said it, living on the edge, living
Yeah.
your life on the edge, where you constantly have this discomfort about
Yes.
what you're doing, what you're
Yes.
testing,
Yes.
and all of that. So when you don't have that discomfort, then you wonder, am I doing enough? Am I doing what I'm supposed to at the pace that I need to be? Yes, it's my own race ultimately, but then that stagnation bothers me. Yeah.
Have you ever felt, when you're in the industry, constantly you think to yourself, I need something to fall back on.
Yes.
I need something to fall back on.
Yes.
Is that like a thought that comes to you all the time?
I think you have to be very real about this industry. What
Yeah.
people don't realize, as glamorous as it is, it's also very precarious and
Yeah.
unpredictable.
Yeah.
So you have to prepare yourself. I admire people who've gone on to study. I see Nomzamo graduating recently.
Yeah.
I went back to school as an adult because I wasn't able to finish at Wits because of fees. So I related a lot with that fees must fall movement. But decided to go back to school in my adult years with children, when I was married with a full-time job.
Sure.
So it was precisely because of that you must have something that adds to what is a talent, what is something you've nurtured and crafted over the years, but something extra, just, you can dig into the bag and pull
and
out.
also, even if you're not necessarily gonna use it day to day, I find if
Yes.
you're a broadcaster, it is your
Yes.
job to know a lot, everything. It's just your job. Because
Yes.
anybody can come and start speaking, you know, branding, and
Yeah.
there you were at Vega, you would know to step into the conversation.
Exactly. And I think all that, your mind just starts to operate differently.
Yeah.
You know, when you immerse yourself in studies, in education, higher education especially, your mind starts to just operate differently. You interrogate, you question, you're curious about things. You don't accept them for what they are without a level of interrogation and curiosity. So I think education is incredibly key, regardless of what you're doing, but also especially for this industry.
Yeah, you mentioned your kids, and then every time I think of you, I remember how people used to say to me, Anele, your mom's so cool, your mom's so cool. And inside I'm like, woo, I'm shouting. Okay? You know, to everyone else, your mother's cool. To you, you're just like,
Yes, I know.
you're like, cool way. Do your kids suffer from people telling them how cool their mother is, and then they're like, we have proof?
Yes, you don't know what you're talking about. My daughter often talks about when I start to lecture.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
because that can end up being, yes, it's a corrective situation,
Yeah.
but then it ends up being half the afternoon. You know, you're not going to forget this point.
And then, you know what, and I'm sure it's going to happen when Alaka grows up, my son, but, and then you've lectured now, and you've stopped, and we're now eating jelly, and you're still on it. I'm like, okay, ma civile.
Yes, that's what I get.
Is this you?
That's what I get. I hear you. I heard you. I heard you.
The first
And then you start
300.
feeling like your mother, where they repeated themselves, telling you the same thing over and over again. But, you know, you forget, it's not important to be cool. What's cool is that you've taught your children those lessons. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't, as long as I'm cool to me and my peers, that's fine.
That's
To
fine.
her and my son, doesn't matter. I'm not there to be cool.
So being a mother and also a friend, especially the older they get.
I
you
was
have to be
21 when I had her.
You're a bonus. So
Yes, and she's turning 20 this year, and I'm 41 this year. So there are occasions where we've talked about going to the club together.
And you're just like, please just dance on that side and I'll dance on this side.
No, now you're sounding like her.
Oh, really?
Yes, like, why were you there? This is the sort of place I should be going, where I go. You had First Thursdays?
You're like, yeah, it's a throwdown. I like
Yeah.
it. So you said you took her for therapy after that whole Twitter thing.
Yes,
Which, by the way,
yes,
I really
yes.
don't think she did anything wrong. But I was just like, I'm
You know
like,
what?
guys,
I know what I was like when I was 19.
when I was 19, I was a rascal. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Silk came to this country at the time, what Boys to Men and all of that, I would have been front and center in that golden circle
Girl,
as well.
I have Tevin Campbell's towel. What are you talking about?
Really?
Yes, that's before I knew it, like, guys. Okay, I was up in there. So for me, I just felt like, yes, once again, it's an attack and we don't understand what words can do.
Yes,
But I love
yes.
the fact that you said you took her for therapy
Yeah.
and both you and her were in that counseling. What's it like coming out of that?
You know, coming out of that were a lot of lessons because that kind of thing can make you withdraw, that kind of cyberbullying at that level. And it was like 30,000 tweets. For someone who is not known,
You don't...
30,000 tweets, adults, peers, also, it was the hardest day of our lives, to be honest. And that kind of thing, after it's happened, you have to draw lessons from it,
Yeah.
but it can easily make you withdraw and not be yourself. And that's a lesson that she
Edit
taught
yourself.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I said to her, get off Twitter, stay off social media. And she said, only for now, but trust me, afterwards, when all of this is over, she went back.
Good girl.
And her voice is back and she's more comfortable and she says, you people have given me a thicker skin. So you know what, bring it on, bring it on.
And I'm also glad not
She's
glad-
braver than I am.
Yes, but
She's braver
it's a
than I
good thing she went through something that tough because she's a beautiful girl. And she's going to get a lot of just unfair, unfair hate purely because of the way she looks, because there's this notion that pretty people have it easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's why we fight beauty pageants as if, you know, I'm not saying they must have things easy because they're beautiful, but I'm saying it's not our job to make it difficult.
Yes.
And that's what I found with her, is that
Right.
people are just making life difficult for her because she is beautiful. But luckily you've taught her that there's more to her beauty.
There's more to her beauty. I've insisted she has to stay in school. She's gotten a job out of that as a consequence, but she has to get her education before everything else. You know, she's always been very bright. I even told her it happened 3 weeks before her final exams. So it disrupted everything. And I said to her, we're going to focus. You'll do this counseling and you're going to ace this year. And she did.
You know, you've really come full circle when you go from running 6 nail salons in London to being forced to close all of them due to cash flow problems, and then coming to South Africa to rebuild a new booming business. After the break, we are joined by the CEO and founder of Miss Salon London, Igo Iwegbu. Iwegbu.
Ego
Ego Iwegbu. Dude, it sounds like something very expensive. Business partner Linda Jangulo is also joining them. The wisdom has started, as you can see. Let's see if we can take more out of them before the end of tonight. So what do you do when you combine beauty treatments in a place where you can listen and dance to music with a glass of bubbly in your hand? You get 3 of the most luxurious nail salons with its own cosmetics line to boot in the province. Well, that is exactly the kind of atmosphere you will experience when you step into any of the Miss Salon London nail bars in Morningside, Parkhurst and Mainland. The 3 business partners and friends behind the Miss Salon London are CEO and founder Ego Iwegbu, as well as partner Linda Jangulo, who joins the 3rd partner, Azania, who already we've been speaking to. Guys, you are goals. You are goals. I promise you. I look at your photos, I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. You know, and it's just, I understand there's a lot of paddling under the water, Ego, right? Ego.
a lot.
A lot. But on the surface, you guys look like it's a breeze. Okay? So I want to talk about, you know, you running the 6 salons now in London, and then there's a cash flow problem. Was somebody stealing money?
No. That's a fresh point that you've just raised. But no, in London, it wasn't about stealing money. It was about opening too many too quickly and not having enough investment to start. And so what happened was that the department stores that I was in were so happy and so eager for more that they would just literally bully me into more, and I didn't want to lose the relationship, so I said yes.
So you spread yourself thin?
Totally.
Okay.
Very, very thin.
So now, Linda, when you know stuff like this, right, and you're going into this, because you had one in Parkhurst, it was all good, and then you open the next one. Are you not like, SCC, do you remember what happened in London? Please come down, right?
You know what, you go in there, I mean, you know, if you're risk averse, I don't think it's for you. So you have to know that, you know what, you're ready to take it. Otherwise, you'd just be sitting where you are without any growth. So you have to be ready to take some punches as well.
But Azania, apparently after the 3rd meeting you had, you know, Ego was like, apparently you're some celebrity. Why do you want to start a nail bar?
Yeah, exactly. And did everything to put me off investing in the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is good.
You need the real side of things. People tend to think entrepreneurship is easy, but it's not. You have to literally do from the most basic things in the business to the best, most glamorous, most fun things. Yeah.
And that's the thing, when we hear nail bar, right, and we hear champagne, and it's so pretty that it's white, you think it's just a place where we go gossip. It's almost like we live in a sitcom, and then we live these lives, and then we go for lunch, and then we come back and we do pedicures. But it's not that. I mean, she even said to you, you're going to have to, you know, pick up after people.
Yes,
you're going to have to put up with...
move shoes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to jump in there, be the one that takes off that nail polish from their toes. You know, so depending on the day, you literally have to play all these roles.
I just, you know what I thought when you said toes? I thought of the grime that builds between people's toes.
Stop it.
Which I like to pick off my own toes, but I'd never pick it off somebody else's. And this is what you guys do.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you have to be passionate about the business that you're in. And so you can't sit around and just point fingers. You've got to get in there.
So how do you start this? Because as people who are friends like to start businesses, and it's the worst thing to ever start a business with a friend. We've seen it, it doesn't work, it ends badly, right? But luckily you guys weren't friends.
Right.
And you interrogated her wanting to join.
Right.
What to you said, okay, fine.
What to me said fine was the fact that she just kept coming back. I was like, no, you haven't thought about this properly. Go, why don't you just open your own salon? Why do you want a Miss Salon? Just go and open your own, and why don't you go read my book, read the book. And then next thing she bought the book and read the book. I was shocked. I thought, oh,
You're like, oh, she reads. What?
Remember what? We were at the Sands in the bathroom.
Yes,
That was, but this was already after
After.
we had signed the deal.
Yeah.
But we were at the Sands. We came out of the bathroom and washed our hands, and we were standing there in front of the mirror. And then Azania takes tissue and starts wiping the surface, you know, drying the water off. And I thought, oh, perfect. Didn't even notice though. Didn't even think about it.
And
That's the detail.
And then Linda, why is Linda perfect? If Azania is wiping club counters at ungodly hours, what is Linda doing to convince you that?
What Linda did, which I'll never forget, is that when the opportunity came to open the salon in Morningside, and I said, do you want to do it? She said yes, and next thing, 2 days later, she sold her car to get the money. So to me, those type of commitments are not, you know, you put your money where your mouth is, you dedicate yourself.
Wow,
Yeah.
I've got goosebumps.
I wanted it so bad.
Oh, you obviously live close.
Listen, you don't think of those things in the moment, okay? I think it was an opportunity. And I think when I met her at school and her WhatsApp, at the time it was BBM on BlackBerry.
Right. Ooh, it's been a while, eh, girls?
Yeah, it was that long ago. I mean, you know, so, and she had Miss Salon. Of course, you know, you Google everything, right? What is this? And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly. So we met up for coffee and I said, gosh, you know what? We were meant to meet because I've been wanting to open a nail salon. At the time, it wasn't even nail bar or anything, you know, fancy like that. And she was like, oh, that's what I do. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, she was like, there's one going up. Do you want to do it? I didn't think twice. I didn't skip a bit. I said, let's do it.
So now from BBM to WhatsApp, obviously you guys have a WhatsApp group.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. WhatsApp group.
What's the name of the WhatsApp group?
Oh, MSL with 3 crowns.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, not 3 crowns, 3 trophies.
Okay.
Yes.
All
And then
right.
the cover of Destiny that we did as the profile picture, because they said power trifecta, and we were like,
Yeah. What do you know? But what's the space like then? Because obviously you work together and you enjoy a good social life together as well. You're getting invited to the same places. You hang out together. Surely there's I don't want to see Azania today, okay? Like, how do you make sure that you guys are giving each other enough space?
Well, actually, we don't actually work together on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, we've got the salons. I'm in the office with the makeup. Azania's in Parkhurst, Linda is in Morningside, and then we all get together when we're having meetings. In fact, we have to kind of, you know, be like, when am I going to see you?
Okay.
It's more like, when am I going to see you?
Okay.
Than, you know, that we're in each other's space all the time.
Anyone in mainland now is getting feelings because you guys didn't mention it. You said office, you said
this is the
Parkhurst.
problem. This has always
It
been the
does
problem
feel
with
a bit of
Menlyn.
neglect,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
we'll get
available
there.
if you
We'll
want me
get there.
to the mainland store. If you mean, you know. Listen, all my guests are impressive women, each with an enviable success story to tell. But that doesn't mean that they haven't gone through their own individual personal hurdles. We're about to learn about the power of bouncing back from hard times from the ladies who were on the Destiny cover as the trifecta. What you know about that? Come back. And welcome back. You with Real Talk. Our guests, Azania Mosaka, Linda Jangulo, and Egu Iwekbu, are all business partners at Miss Salon London and Miss London Cosmetics. I want to get into the cosmetics. So now you're stocking these cosmetics in retail.
Can I
That's where the
mention
money
store?
is.
No?
Really?
Can I mention the stores?
Yeah,
that
please go
we're
ahead.
in Woolworths.
Okay.
So that was a really big coup for us. So we were selling the makeup in our salons only, but it did so well that we got the call after we went to present and stuff to Woolworths.
What conversations, Linda, are you having when it's time to expand like that? Because it's another thing to open another salon, but to move product, you know, it's literally throwing you in the ocean with a baby and then another baby.
Right. I think it's most important that we're ready, first of all, for the expansion. So we always look at what we have on hand, what's going on, cash flow, all those things. And we have to be realistic. So, you know, if we have to move around days, we have to move around and kind of go, listen, we can't do it when you're thinking, but we'll be ready at such a point so that we can just get ourselves ready, other than overcommit and then we fail to, you know, fulfill our commitments.
How do you deal with disappointment? Because also now there's 3 personalities, né? And everyone comes with their own thing. And you know, if you're hard and you can take it, it might not be the case for the other guys. How do you deal with that?
I think it's important. What's working so well is that there are 3 of us.
Yeah.
So you have people to share the load with, to share the joy with, and to share your fears with. You know, so even though, like Ego was saying, we don't see each other as much, that WhatsApp group is constantly going, whether it's the weekend, 11 at night, you name it, it's constantly going about what's happening in the business. So it helps to diffuse those feelings, those concerns, those ideas that you're sitting with when you have other people to share them with. And because you care equally about the business, then you're able to carry the load together.
I mean, sometimes the situations really require more than one head. You know, and you're sitting there and you're nervous about making a serious decision, and it's absolutely priceless to be able to put the problem out onto the group or to speak to Linda and Azania, and the 3 of us make a decision together. It's priceless.
So on Twitter, someone wants to know, are you content with this 3-way partnership? Could there be a 4th, and what would it take? What must the 4th person have to impress all 3 of you that much? Linda. Come through, girl.
So, I mean, there's a criteria, as you can see.
You must wear black?
You must wear black.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't go into that.
You must wear black, you must be striking.
You must be striking. No, you know what? You must want it. You know, you must be hungry for it. Because, you know, like you say, there's always this glitz and glam that goes on the surface, but behind it all, there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of disappointment that goes on. Are you ready to take that?
I mean, Azania, you were divorced, okay, you're going through a divorce. Your husband sadly passed away, Linda. You know, you say your husband...
I went through a divorce in South Africa.
You know, in a foreign land. You came here with this person, and the next thing, he's like, see you later. You know, so there is such texture to you guys, all of you. You know, you've been through all of these things. Do you find that it's easy for you to channel it into the business, because ultimately you're in the business of feelings? Because you know, when I come to you and you guys make me look pretty, I leave feeling great. So do you draw from your own personal experiences to make women feel good?
Hugely, hugely, all the time. All the time, because it's a reality, and people love authenticity. And if you are just yourself, and we have so many stories, and we have so many, you know, so much history and issues that we've been through, that you make everybody that's in your presence feel comfortable, that we're not judging you. You live your life, do your thing, and make sure that you're winning, you know, at the end of the day.
If anything, that was one of the key things, and the values and the philosophy when we put it together. Like, what do we stand for? Who are we? We had a whole workshop around that. And that was one of the things that we all agreed on, that we thought was very important. An authentic experience, a non-judgmental experience. It's friendly and it's professional at the same time, but you should also feel like you're being hosted. That it's like you're with your friends at a dinner party, but it's just at a nail bar, you know? So it's a very social space. And that's one thing that we're very careful to ensure that is present, always present in the businesses.
Who's the crazy one, Linda? They both pointed at you.
No, I am.
Okay.
I'm hectic.
Who
Do you want to bring out some vodka?
All right.
I don't need vodka. I can start.
I can just do this. I can go solo. Okay, who is the one most likely to reply to your message immediately?
Linda. Linda.
Really?
I always know. So on the WhatsApp group, I always think it's okay, even if Azania doesn't get back quickly, Linda will give a response.
Okay, who gives the best apologies?
Apologies?
I think we've
I do.
Ne?
It's
always the crazy one.
apologize for now.
Sometimes I say sorry.
Sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
that's
never
better.
say sorry.
That's better. Because there's nothing to apologize for.
Oh, yeah. She says they never say sorry.
They
And Azania's like, because there's nothing to apologize for. Oh, man, I'm sad. It's almost time for us to wrap up our discussion. After the break, we're putting the ins and the outs of this multi-billion-dollar beauty industry under the microscope. Trust me, you want to stay for this. Come back. And welcome back to Real Talk. The business of beauty is known to generate revenue in the regions of tens of billions of dollars every year. Now, it's not a surprise if you consider how much goes into us wanting to look and feel good. Everything from our hair, makeup, perfume, nail polish, everything. And more of the time, the industry has opened itself up to a male clientele, making it even better for business. Now, do you guys enjoy male clientele?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
They light up the place. Where's Mtaya Kojani?
Right?
You just hear the ladies giggling. You know there's a man around.
The energy changes. I like the way we girls like to act like that's not true, but
Yeah,
you can put a girl in like a room full of ladies, 100, and one guy, it's like,
I know.
you know, you rise to the occasion. So this is now something, as soon as I heard that you guys were coming, I was like, great, this is something I want to discuss with you guys. You know, I don't like the term anti-aging, you know. What is so anti about me aging, right? So what's your personal feeling on aging gracefully? Because you guys are in your 40s and you are in your 40s, Nelly.
41.
Sorry, I thought you knew that I was 27.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't know. Oh, God. I started my first business at 12.
Wait. Oh, there it says, Ego. I'm so sorry, Ego. It says 27, turning 28. My mistake.
So this anti-aging situation, I'm
It's
the wrong
for them.
person. Yeah, because me, I'm not into aging.
But let's talk about it. I mean, because you also are a counselor and a bit of a therapist to the clients that come. And, you know, what's the general feeling for you guys about aging gracefully?
Well, I think that one needs to be groomed, right? So whether you're older or younger, you know, you're in your 40s, your 30s, your 50s, I think that women who take care of themselves just look good. It's not about whether you look, you know, 20 years younger or 10 years younger. You just look well presented. And I think that it's important to get your hair done, to get to brush your teeth, to put on a little bit of makeup, to do your nails. These things show a little bit of vanity, always helps you stay on top of your game, you know? You don't lose it and start to look disheveled. I don't think there's anything cool about aging and being disheveled.
Linda, what's your take on, on taking the years on, gracefully?
You can take them on gracefully, but that doesn't mean that, you don't put in just a little bit of effort just to look presentable when you go out there. Because, I mean, you could take two women same age, and one just rocks up like, yeah, she just got out of bed. And, and then you do her up and everyone's going, oh my God, how old are you? So it's just that little bit of effort that you need to put in. And, it's not about plastering on all this makeup and whatever, but it's just taking care of yourself, whether it's your outfit, because a lot of people derive joy from different things. There are those it's makeup, there are those it's clothing, it's your accessories. So find what works for you. Botox, it's up to you.
It's up to you, but you can't also look like a Tupperware where you look like your face doesn't move.
Exactly, no.
Right?
That's excessive.
Azania?
My view, all right. I absolutely agree with everything that they've said. And I also think each to his own. For some people, some people might prefer to deepen their knowledge and maybe be about certain things and not necessarily beauty, but each to his own ultimately. It's just that we live in a reality where the world does judge. The world looks at you and treats you based on how you present yourself, how you walk through life. So it's just one of those realities that we have to come to terms with, and it depends on how you want to approach it and what it means to you.
Egu, thank you so much for your time. Please, I look forward to you guys opening the 100th shop across the continent. Linda, please tell your kids I say hi.
I certainly
Apparently
will. Tomorrow, I'm
major
telling you, they're
fans.
going to be calling. They'll be like, oh my God, Anele. We listen to you every morning driving to school. So
thank
they'll
you.
be
And then
super chuffed.
Azania, there's a surprise for people. I don't know if, do we tell them now?
No,
not
let's
yet.
not tell them now.
Okay, we're not going to, just know that there's a surprise with
Yes,
myself and Azania for you. So don't worry about it. Let's just say you'll be seeing her again. Thanks so much to my guest today, Linda, Ego, as well as Azania. Really, really excellent examples of what you can do when you merge your passion with a whole lot of work, guys. Hard work and work ethic. Remember, all of this week we are dedicating moments on Real Talk to Mam Winnie Madikizela Mandela, the diary series that we're doing. Tomorrow, we've got Dineo Ranaka as a guest. Isitingo is up next. Ciao.